It's true, bamboo bedding is dreamy to sleep on. That's why Quince aptly named their Bamboo Dream Quilt Set. Coming in 12 colors, you're absolutely going to love this quilt and 2 shams set. Starting at the softest of pinks and going all the way to a dark navy. It's going to be perfect for anyone's room. Your own, your guest rooms, your kids' rooms, maybe even back to the dorm bedding. Quince has everything you need to elevate your space, from bedding to soft organic towels, airy curtains, and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And of course, as you know, Quince has gorgeous cashmere and other wardrobe essentials. And the best part, Quince's products are half the cost of similar brands. They partner with top artisans and cut out the cost of the middleman, passing the savings on to us. Thank you, Quince. And they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, so you can feel good about your purchases from Quince. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. DTT Plus, where you get more of us. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks Plus. And today we're talking apartment hacks. Anita's been doing some magic in an apartment, and she's going to share some of the things and the ideas that she has been implementing to make it absolutely fabulous.
Well, this is something when you have a limited budget. My client, who is my daughter, has a very limited budget. She's a teacher.
Limited budget and a non-paying client.
Yes, a non-paying client with no money, where basically I had to pay for half the stuff.
Wait a minute. Well, we need to review your business model, but that's another story. Okay, go ahead.
I know this is probably not the way to do a business, but there are those clients you have to accept. So anyway, it was fun to do, and we're still not done, but it was so fun. I thought this would make a great episode because I had to come up with some creative solutions. And there's one thing that I found when we were trying to disguise some storage she had. And so the first thing I want to talk about is not something we did, but I think it would be an amazing project for an apartment. And that is that makeshift office that, I sent you a picture of that, Kelly, and I thought, we could kind of describe it, and we'll include a link to it. But it's a really beautiful and elegant solution if you need an office and a desk for work, maybe, but it's kind of a messy area, and you want to be able to close it up during the day. Maybe you're working from home and you have to have all this stuff out, but you don't want to see your desk and your computer when you're not working. This would be a great solution. So it starts with one of those metal storage racks that, I have them in my garage. People have them in their pantry. And I'm not sure how else to describe that, Kelly. Do you have a thought on that?
No, absolutely. Those are the metal wire ones. Sometimes they're on casters. But when you said the word makeshift, I thought, oh no, but then you said elegant. This is so elegant and beautiful. This is not like you just swept all the stuff off your dining room table and made an office. This is really good. And I'm thinking it would be great for even a closet too, or like a shoe storage or something. So keep going. It's so great.
Yes. So they made a cover for this shelf, and it's so beautiful. They really chose some beautiful fabric and trim, and basically they did not use the lowest shelf. And put the lowest shelf they put at desk height, so that you could pull up a chair in there and use the shelf like a desk. And then then you have a couple of shelves up above to put things on, but nothing underneath, so you can push your chair in there and work. But then it's covered with fabric on 3 sides, and then on the front it's kind of like a tent flap that you roll up and tie up. So that's the thing that you can roll down when you're not using it. It's like art. It's so pretty.
Oh, it's so pretty. They used the fabric makes it really spectacular, but any fabric would be great. And I am not a sewer of your caliber at all, but I mean, I think I might be able to even pull this off. So I don't know how difficult it might be, and you maybe don't have to add all the trims and whatnot. So are you going to link that exact image that you sent to me?
Yes,
oh, yeah. Everybody should definitely check that out. And what a great way to sort of hide away, not even from your guests, but from yourself, your computer or your to-do list or your pile of stuff you have to do, and just sort of make it go away in this beautiful manner. And oftentimes in an apartment, you're not even allowed to paint the walls, let alone wallpaper or add some pattern that way. So this is an opportunity to add a sort of a large scale pattern or even just color. And I'm thinking, it looks like maybe in that image, it's kind of in a little alcove, which could be great. But even if it had to be out in the room, if it is on the casters, you could roll it around.
It's a portable office.
Right? You could roll it. And then when it's closed up, maybe you put it, if you could possibly roll it behind the sofa or something. So it's not taking up a lot of space. So I just thought that was a brilliant idea. I love small space solutions. So we're calling this apartment hacks, but any small space, you could utilize the ideas that we're going to bring to you today, or really Anita's going to bring to you. But this also reminded me of that funny, well, it's a funny story. I think it's funny, but I don't know if Peter thought it was funny when I made his office in a closet where the bifold doors opened up. And I was like, this is perfect.
It's a great idea. I've seen it done.
We did it many years ago. I kind of feel like I might have been setting that trend, but it's so simple with just a piece of plywood. You take the rod off, or I guess you could even leave the rod there, but you put a piece of plywood supported on the three sides at desk level, and then you can slide your chair in there. And it was just those old-fashioned louvered bifold doors. And so when he wasn't in there, when he was in there, you couldn't close it. When he wasn't in there, it just looked like a closet. And that was our guest room. What's next?
So the reason I was looking at that image in the first place was because she had a garage in her old apartment. And so I directed her to buy some of these shelves. So she has 2 4-foot wide open shelving units. So in moving into this apartment, there were no garages. So that's why I was even looking for these covers, because she was going to have to bring them into her apartment. I was looking for where she could store all of her stuff, and there was just no place it was going to fit. And so these shelving units were going to have to come into her apartment. And she was just worried about it. What am I going to do? Where am I going to put these? And I said, no worries. We'll figure something out, which means Mom's going to do this. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at how do you cover them with fabric, and that's how I saw that image. So that was my first idea, was to cover it with fabric. And then I'll link also to all these images I found of people who have made covers for the shelves, not making it into an office like that, but kind of just to cover the shelves. And a lot of times there's one fabric on the top and it's lined with another fabric, and then maybe the ties are there to keep the fabric open while you're using it, and then you can cover it up when you don't need to access to the shelves. So I've seen a bunch of these covers, and that's really what I was planning on doing. And then I was thinking of using a duvet that had one fabric on one side on the top and another on the bottom, and so it would already be made like that, and I was going to sew the pieces together. And that was my plan, but I also was thinking, this is going to be a big project, not because there's so much sewing, but because the fabric pieces are going to be so big. It's a little hard to manage all that. And so then I thought, well, what else can I do to disguise these shelves? And I was looking in her dining area. There's a wall that's 10 feet wide. And I thought, well, these shelves are 8 feet wide when you put them together. And I thought, what if we just push them back against the wall and just had a curtain in front of them? And I thought, this is going to be a whole lot less work for me. And I thought it might actually be a better location. Well, we kind of checked it out, and it turns out that there is room to put her table in front of the shelves, and then still have room to walk by into the living room from the door. And then I thought, oh man, this is going to work. So I looked online, and IKEA actually has some ceiling tracks for curtains. And, because this needs to be something, doing a rod pocket on a rod is not really going to work, because, you're going to have to open this a lot.
Yeah.
So it really needs to be something that's easily opened. But these ceiling tracks those are meant to be opened and closed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So those usually slide open and closed very well. And then the IKEA curtains have the curtain tape on the back so that the hooks just go on the back. Just like if you had pleated drapes and you would have the hooks that would hold the pleats. So I thought, oh my goodness, this is perfect. Then I went on IKEA, found some fabulous curtains that she loved. And I thought, okay, we are in
off
business
to the races. Oh my gosh, that's so great.
Yeah, so it's black fabric with pink flowers, which is definitely her style. And I think they're pretty nice. $50, I think, for a set of two. Something like that. I mean,
that's
it was
a deal. So I'm trying to visualize. So you brought these wire shelving racks into the dining room. They're against a wall that, doesn't have any windows. It's a 10-foot wall. And
10 foot wide. 10 foot wide.
10 foot wide, yeah.
Right.
So they're going to sit there, next to each other.
Right.
And it's going to be enclosed storage and shelving.
Well, right, because the track is just kind of right in front of them.
Okay.
So when it's closed, I mean, and we still haven't completely finished yet. So when the curtain's closed, it's just going to look like there's windows back there. It's just going to be a wall of curtains.
Right.
So to be honest with you, like so many things in design, it's going to end up looking better than if we didn't have a problem. When you have a problem and you come up with a creative solution, often it's more interesting than if you didn't have the problem to begin with.
I love that. I love what you just said. And I really wholeheartedly agree because you put thought into it, time, maybe a little bit of effort, and you've created this great solution. And having that fabulous pattern that Evie loves going from basically floor to ceiling, it's going to be terrific in there. And that's another way to add some color and pattern when you can't paint the walls.
Well, right. I mean, it's going to be a wall of this fabric that she loves, and I think it's just going to be something that's going to make it even more cozy and charming. So I'm kind of excited about seeing it when we get it all finished.
Plus, we haven't even discussed the idea that she's going to have so much storage, which is often lacking in an apartment.
Well, the other thing about doing the curtain is now she can continue to store things on that top shelf.
Yeah.
Whereas if we made the covers, you would lose that storage. And this curtain goes all the way up to the ceiling. So it's going to allow more space. And then she can even tuck things in beside the shelves as long as it's behind the curtain. So that worked out very well.
And even just knowing about these ceiling mount rods is a good thing, because whether or not you're in an apartment or if you're trying to create a storage solution, you may want to delineate a space somehow. And that could be a great solution. Oftentimes, you won't have an ability to put a rod with some brackets somewhere, but you'll have a ceiling and you might be able to use it there. I know in our WC, our toilet area of our master bath, I have put, just for decorative purposes, we don't close it because it would just be awkward to do that all the time, but I have a tension rod across in there because I'm able to go wall to wall. And it just kind of comes down and it looks cool, and I have it with some chain. And I mean, it looks pretty cool for the toilet area. But had I not had wall to wall on either side, giving me the ability to use the tension rod, a ceiling rod would be great. So anybody who's listening to this can think about ways that they might be able to just add some fabric, delineate a space by using a ceiling rod and some beautiful drapes.
Right. But you also bring up another idea, and that is these are typically used for windows. So if you had some window where it's going to be very difficult to mount a rod above the window, this is a great solution for you to hang the curtains from the ceiling. So I think it's a great option for people.
Yeah, good to know. Okay, we'll link that in the show notes as well. Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. So have you tried Dupe yet? If you haven't, come on, dupe.com. It is going to be your new shopping best friend. And it's not just for furniture. I know I've shared with you about my coffee table dupe, but you can save money with Dupe on fashion, shoes, jewelry, and more. I just used Dupe to find an absolute perfect twin of this t-shirt that I wanted. It was an $80 t-shirt. I was not going to pay $80 for a t-shirt. Dupe helped me find the twin, like maybe the exact same shirt. Find something you love, and then you can find replicas, twins, and maybe the exact thing for so much less. Give Dupe a try today. It is really so easy to use. You just type dupe.com / before any product URL in your browser, and voila! It instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account is required. No sign up is required. It is completely free. I know, can you believe it? But it is completely free to use. Stop wasting money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today. So what next? What did you do after that?
Well, when we got there, I was really disappointed because, well, for one thing, the AC wasn't working properly and it was 100 degrees. That was the first disappointment. Now, the good news is they did fix to get it taken care of right away. So, but when we went in the kitchen, I was kind of surprised that the refrigerator had several dents on it. And I was like, ooh, this is not good. Now, I will say that...
Who dents a refrigerator?
I don't know, but it's dented. So, I mean, of course, my immediate reaction is, I can't have my baby with a dented refrigerator. I mean, who lives like this? This is like animals live like this, you know? So I was trying to think, what we could do. And again, I found out so much that I didn't know. You can buy basically a vinyl cover. Well, I mean, you have to cut it to size, but like a vinyl cover for your refrigerator, like those pickup trucks or vans you see on the freeway that are advertising a business and maybe there's a photo on them. Mm-hmm. It's the same sort of technology. It's just kind of a vinyl sheet that's applied to your refrigerator. And that would be a perfect thing to do. And you can get flowers or, just whatever, a different color, a pattern. I mean, there's so many.
Oh, really? Okay. Yes. So like skinning your car. I mean, I've seen people, cars driving around that have done that. And I understand what you're saying about, sometimes it's a magnetic, Joe's Landscaping or whatever can go on the side of the truck. But I've seen cars around LA that are actually completely skinned. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
Pink and orange polka dots or something like that. Yeah.
That's exactly what we're talking about. It's very temporary, meaning I shouldn't say temporary. It's very reversible. It's very removable. You just peel it off. So it is the same technology. Now, the downside, once again, was that it's going to be time consuming to apply that because it has to be cut, to fit. Oh, right. And I was thinking, well, my first thought is, I'm not the one doing this. But then I was thinking,
really? You're not?
I'm not the one going to be doing this. And I thought she's not going to do it either. And then I thought, okay, this is not practical for her. And then I thought, what is something easy she could do? Well, then I found these really cute, large kind of 1960s kind of flower child looking flowers that were magnetic, that are vinyl, that you just pop on there. Well, they look great. I mean, for her, they're fun. I mean, it's not it's not an elegant look. It's just kind of a fun, quirky look. But she loves, pink and flowers and things. Yeah. So it works for her. But I said, we didn't even ask them to replace this. I said, they were so good about getting that AC fixed right away. I said, I bet they would switch this out. But she said, well, I like the flowers so much. She said, I'm good with this. So,
oh, how funny. Okay, well, that's great. Oh, wow. Another fun solution.
Okay, so one more. I have one more thing that we're going to do. So we didn't end up needing to do the desk idea because she actually does have a built-in desk. Now, it's about 3 feet wide, and it's just like a little section of wall. It's a small section, like I said, about 3 feet wide. And it does have the built-in desk, and then it has 2 shelves above it. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, what a great way to add some interest to the room would be to have some wallpaper back there because it's a small section. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, it is an apartment. We cannot, put regular wallpaper on there. And I think the walls were textured also. So I bought some foam core. And then what we're planning to do is to cut it to size because basically that wall is 3 feet wide. And then there's 3 sections. And so I bought 3 pieces of foam core. We'll just cut it and just make sure it fits back in the wall between the shelves. One's above the top shelf. One piece will be between the 2 shelves. And the other one will be between the desk and the first shelf. And then we can use contact paper because there's some very cute contact papers out there now. We can use repositionable wallpaper. We can paint it pink. So the options are endless. We'll just push it back there. And then when she moves out, we're just going to pop it out and go on. But meanwhile, she's got this beautiful, fun background there for when she's sitting and working.
That is brilliant. I love all the ideas, but that one is so doable. And I think that is going to make such a difference in the room. And I just want to highlight what you said about the wall being textured. So maybe it's orange peel.
Right.
Why was that an idea?
I don't know.
And I mean, it took effort to do that. It would have been easier just to put the sheetrock in and just call it a day.
I don't understand why they put it on walls. I really don't get it.
This is the third condo I'm doing around Pasadena where we're having the whole thing skim coated. What a waste, because it really does date the space. Plus, it's very hard to put up any wallpaper, whether it be real wallpaper or removable, repositionable paper, because it just doesn't stick right. And just will not adhere correctly. Maybe if you got a professional wallpaper come in and they did heavy coats of adhesive, you might get away with it, but it is better to skim coat if you've got that kind of wall, if you're going to put up a wallpaper treatment. So great idea with the foam core, because you totally avoid that issue as well.
And then I guess the only other thing I can talk about that we are doing in her apartment is lots of cubbies in that closet. There's just so many creative cubbies and boxes that stack that you can get on Amazon, or IKEA also is a great source for those to organize your clothes and other things in your closet. And it really is very charming. She's done a great job with it. And yeah, I'm excited to get all of this done so we can make it just perfect for her.
Oh, this is so much fun. I mean, her other apartment was so beautiful too, with that emerald green sofa and all of that. So definitely send me some pictures, and we'll have links to all the things that Anita talked about today in the show notes. We did want to talk about a question that we received via voicemail, which we love hearing your voices. You hear ours all the time, so let us have a chance to hear yours. When you leave a voicemail, there's an opportunity to put in your email. Please put in your email so we can reply to you. So Beth, we don't have your email, and it was a while ago that you left this voicemail, and we're getting to talk to you about the question right now. Beth's question was about making her cabinets appear older. I understand that she has an older home, 1859, so even older than mine. Mm-hmm. And then they're putting in a new kitchen, and she chose shaker cabinets, which is an excellent choice, and we support that. Mm-hmm. And her question was, well, how to make the cabinets look old and sort of fit in with the era of her home, and I would assume the rest of her decorating. So I was in the same situation here, Beth. I needed to have all new kitchen cabinets when we were renovating our place, amongst other things. But what I wanted to do is also have that older appearance. So I had the painters use spray on, because that gives you a nice, good, firm foundation, and painters like to spray on the paint, but that has that sort of factory look to it. So the last coat, the third coat, I had them hand brush. So you can discern brush strokes on my white cabinets, which definitely gives them, it doesn't jump out at you, but it definitely supports the older feel of it, and definitely takes away any of that sort of brand new, out of the factory spray painted look. And then I would also suggest that you really look for some vintage hardware. That's going to go a long way. I did that as well. I found some vintage glass knobs, and I had to sort of work with, the number that I was able to find literally in a dusty box at the bottom of a shelf in an old hardware store. And then I was able to add some glass that are newer, but using little pulls like on things like the trash door and things like that. So Hopefully you can find some vintage hardware somewhere, or you could go to places like House of Antique Hardware, where they do a lot of reproductions. Rejuvenation also has a lot of great hardware. So those are the two suggestions that I would have for you to make your shaker cabinets appear older. Third coat, brushed on by hand, and then find some vintage hardware.
And I would add to that, you can also go over it with a black glaze. It's going to darken the paint, and then you're going to see a little bit of black brush stroke across there. That is an antiquing option that can give it an aged feel if you really want to do, some of that, to do it with paint. And I like your idea of using the brush strokes for that final coat of paint. I think that is a very, that certainly gives it the impression that it's been there for a long time to have those, the paint strokes on there. Because now when the painters are painting, I think they put, something in the paint to keep from getting any brush strokes.
Right. It's more of a leveler as in a lot of the paints now. So yeah, you got to fight against the technology sometimes to get an older look.
Well, did you have anything else?
No, you hacked it up really well today. That was really fun.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.